Hi friends. So sadly, Nadal had to pull out of the Wimbledon 2022 semifinals against Kyrgios, and we all know what happened in his match against Fritz. Nadal did a press conference yesterday in at Wimbledon, and he mentioned clearly that he was feeling or he was suffering from this injury for the past 1 or 2 weeks, but it did not stop him from competing. But it aggravated against his match against Fritz, and he was not able to serve well. We all saw that the pace on his serve dropped, and post the second set, he was trying his level best to somehow complete the match. Of course, it looked like it bettered in the end. That is why he was able to again increase some sort of pace in his serve, and from the baseline, he was playing well. So he clearly mentioned that because it is an abdominal muscle tear, it limits his ability to serve. And because of that, playing against Kyrgios and then against Djokovic, it limits his chances to win the match. Plus, it also raises a risk to worsen the injury. That is what he mentioned in his press conference, and that is why he decided to pull out based on the recommendation of his doctors, his team. So we all saw his match against Fritz, and midway between the match in the second set, where Nadal was actually started, he started feeling the injury. His father from the stands, he clearly pointed out that Nadal should quit the match, but he didn't. He tried to somehow carry on. He clearly mentioned that he did not want to quit the match because of the tournament, because of Wimbledon, because of the quarterfinal match, and because he always likes to finish the match, uh, if at all it is possible. So that was the reason. Now, talking about the injury, because it is part of the abdomen, it is quite difficult for him to serve. And against the likes of Kyrgios and Djokovic, if you don't have your serve, it is really difficult to win the match. And not only win the match, but even to compete. Uh, and then we all know Nadal, if he would have played the match against Kyrgios, he would have tried his best. And that would have actually increased the chances of a further injury. So I think that's a good decision overall from him, a sensible decision to stop right here because the season is still going on. We have the US Open coming up. There is the whole pre-tournaments. Then we have the other tournaments throughout the year. We have the World Tour finals as well. So that is why I think it's a good decision, and then it also gives him a chance to uh, come back fitter in the upcoming tournaments as well as next year, because next year again we have all the four Grand Slams. So I think it's a sensible decision, and what this means is Kyrgios has reached the semi-final. I mean, he has been given the walkover, so he has now reached the final of the Wimbledon for the first time in his career. I mean, it's his first Grand Slam final anyway, and that's a big achievement from Kyrgios. Regardless of this walkover, I think in the whole tournament he played really well. Of course, he has his antics. He has his tantrums, whatever you want to call it. But in the end, he played really well throughout the match, throughout the tournament, and now he's in the final. Now, the big question arises: how does it change things? Now, we were thinking that probably Nadal would have a tough match against Kyrgios if he were able to play, and but still he would be able to win in like 4 sets or 5 sets probably, and then we would see a Djokovic and Nadal matchup. And I was actually thinking maybe Nadal had a great chance to win this year because I don't think Djokovic is playing really well, even though he produced an amazing comeback in his previous match. And I mean, we all thought, I mean, I actually thought that the match was over. The way Sinner was playing, and he was not giving any chances, and Djokovic was not looking comfortable from the baseline. He was just trying to finish the points early. He played a few drop shots that did not work. Uh, he was not able to stay in the rally. His serve was not working, and Sinner was playing really well. So I thought that was it, and it could have been straight sets victory for Sinner. But again, we cannot ever count out Djokovic. We all saw what happened against Tsitsipas in the French Open finals. There also it was a similar situation. Tsitsipas was playing well, Djokovic was not playing well, but then somehow, very calmly, he came back into the match. And similar thing happened here also. There were not many emotions shown by Djokovic throughout the match. Even when he was making a comeback, it seemed that it is normal for him in a way, and he never lost belief. That is what he said in his press conference. So a great comeback, but even then, I feel that when if he played against Nadal, Nadal having beaten him at the French Open, and because Nadal was playing really well, uh, you know, before we came to know that he was injured, so probably I would have given Nadal some chance against Djokovic, and if it was a pressure match, I think Nadal would have better opportunities because of his previous records against Djokovic. I mean, in the recent times. So, but anyway, that has not happened, and now it changes everything. Now, Kyrgios might possibly meet Djokovic in the finals, and that really is an interesting matchup now. Kyrgios has beaten Djokovic in the past a lot of times. He knows his game, and if Djokovic is not playing well from the baseline, then it all comes down to how well Djokovic is returning the serve, because Djokovic, Kyrgios, I mean, from the baseline, I would not say that Kyrgios is a fantastic player, but he is a good player, and Djokovic is the best player from baseline, right? But because he's not playing well, he's not sort of in form. So it all comes down to the return of serve. Now we all know that Kyrgios, the main weapon that Kyrgios has is his serve. He serves consistently above 130 miles per hour, and for anybody, even someone with Djokovic's abilities, it would be really difficult for him to consistently return Kyrgios's serve, and that is what the main point is. If Kyrgios is able to serve well, if he is able to hold his serves, get into a tie break or something, then 1 or 2 points can decide the match. And because from what we have seen Kyrgios, how he plays, he's never afraid of taking chances. He can go for winners on match points, down, break point down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's quite dangerous for the opponent because the opponent doesn't know. The opponent doesn't have any control over the outcome. You never know what Kyrgios is going to do, right? Plus, the way he behaves on the court, the way he talks with the crowd would definitely favor Kyrgios against Djokovic. That is what my feeling is. And even if he, behaves incorrectly on the court, but still, I think the crowd would still favor Kyrgios against Djokovic, and that is strange in a way, but that could get into Djokovic's head, and that is why I think that Djokovic has to be on top of his game if he wants to win against Kyrgios. So first of all, we have to wait to see today's match. I think Djokovic is clearly the favorite against Nori, and I think he should be able to make it to the finals because he also had a couple of days to rest. So I don't think the effects of that five setter that he had to play would be there. He got appropriate rest. So I think Kyrgios versus Djokovic looks to be a probable final, and because these players have a lot of history between them, I don't think they like each other. They have commented against each other a lot of times, and Kyrgios, for me, I think he has a lifetime chance, lifetime opportunity to win a Grand Slam. He himself has admitted a lot of times that he doesn't take his this sport seriously. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't like to play. Sometimes he's also said that. So for such a player, it's very difficult to consistently win 7 matches in a row and make it to the finals. And because of his practice schedules, uh, the chances of injuries are also more. So, having said that and having considered all those factors, I think this is one of the biggest chances that he has, and he plays well. He knows how to beat Djokovic. So, I think it's going to be a really close match if Kyrgios is able to focus on the match, and whatever, whether he does the talking with the crowd or whether he behaves the way he does, if still he's able to keep focus on the match, then I think that would help him. But it could easily turn into something where he self destructs himself and loses the match in straight sets. That's also a possibility. So it all depends on his mood on the particular day, how he's able to focus. For Djokovic, I think the most important thing is to return the serve well. If he is able to return the serve well, then I think Djokovic will be in control, in complete control from baseline. Even if he's not playing well, I think still he can handle Kyrgios from the baseline because it's Wimbledon, and Djokovic moves really well on this surface. He slides well. So even though if let's say his forehand is not working or his backhand is not working, his drop shots are not working, still he has a lot of different options to somehow win the match. But return of serve is crucial.